April of this year, I found out.
I felt a lump under my arm.
I can tell you exactly, July 22nd of 2010.
What do I do these days? Work, take my children to the whatever practice they're going to, sleep, get up, work again.
Well, I've taken up running again. I had started running before I got my cancer diagnosis.
Oh, I cook.
But they said this was too far gone, no lumpectomy this time, double mastectomy. I said, it's live or die, take them. I want to live. I want to see my grandchildren graduate and marry. And I want to help my baby girl, Tara, to get through hers, the rest of hers.
2 days before my 35th birthday, I found the lump, and then everything just kind of went real fast and moved along. January 21st, 2010, on my 35th birthday, I was told that I have stage 3 breast cancer.
It's not true. She's too young. 35 years old is too young for breast cancer. But I have found that many other younger girls have had it. And it's just a real shocker. To me, it's just not fair for girls to be so young.
I have what? You know, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you right. You know, I'm in my 30s. You don't expect those words to come out of somebody's mouth. But then the next thought was, well, how do I go home and tell my kids?
I was shocked. I mean, I couldn't believe it. And I'd mentioned that I had started running. I had ran my first half marathon 3 months before in the Oklahoma City Memorial Marathon, and I'm like, but I feel great. Are you sure? I don't have cancer.
I actually had my biopsy on April Fool's Day, which I always find kind of funny, but that's kind of how my world is. I like to find humor in my world, and I found out on April 5th, and that day I think you get pretty emotional because when you hear the word cancer, fear is the first emotion I think that anyone experiences because it's the fear of the unknown.
I was diagnosed with cancer for the first time over 30 years ago, actually 31 years ago. I had breast cancer. 17 years later, I had another diagnosis of breast cancer. And then 6 years ago, when I moved back to Oklahoma, I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. And I'm currently in a clinical trial for treatment of ovarian cancer, which is a very promising drug.
Teaching some like cardio and a little bit of weights, and I thought I've done something, you know. And then I thought, no, I'm swollen. So I went into my OBGYN, and then she said, no, this isn't normal.
I'm 63 years old, so I can say that I've grown up with cancer. But the good news is that I've seen the progress. The research has been phenomenal. We need to continue it, and that's one of my missions, is to ensure that we do not short-circuit the important things that we've done, because we've made tremendous progress.
My favorite Integris moment is they have in the infusion room where you get your chemotherapy, they have a brass bell that you ring. It's mounted up on the wall, and there's a saying below it. Unfortunately, I can't remember exactly what the saying is, but when you're done on the day of your chemo treatment, your last chemo, you get to ring the bell. So I couldn't wait to ring that bell, and I rang it with vigor, and I had some girlfriends there and my husband there, my mom there, and we took pictures with friends and family and with my favorite oncologist nurse.
And then when we went to see Dr. McMahon, that was the biggest day, saddest day. Because I had already planned a 40th anniversary party for my husband and I. Excuse me. And I just knew it wasn't going to happen now. I've never had a wedding when I married my husband. It was just a small church with about 6, 7 people. And I really, never realized I had cancer, that this was a great thing that I had decided to do this for my husband and I. And he surprised me with having Elvis impersonator come and remarry us. He did fantastic. I enjoyed every moment of that party, and I will enjoy every moment of the rest of my life with my children and my friends.
But I think you really appreciate everything much more. Not that you really want to take things for granted, your family, your good friends, all the support you've been given. I've had incredible support, and my family has too. And I think you just appreciate the loving people.
I go shopping with my mother. I go to the movies with my mother. My husband and I, we try to go on trips, just him and I together.
And we have a saying, it is what it is, and you do what you have to do to get through. Just wake up each morning and say that to yourself and get on with your day, because there will be another.
It's okay to be mad. It's okay to cry. But there has to be a point that you have to go, okay, I've got to do what I've got to do to get through this. So and you do it. You know, Rascal Flatts has a song called Stand, and that's one of my songs that got me through this. You know, they say, and I probably won't get it exactly right, but you get, you know, down on your knees, you wipe them up, you get up, and you stand. You know, you have to. You have to pull yourself through, whether it's for your family. I mean, my kids, you know, they got me through this. I had to be strong for them, you know.
I think after you experience a challenge like this, that sometimes you don't know if you're going to live or die, or, you know, we never know when we're going, so I'm thankful to God every day.
So yeah, your priorities definitely change when you find out that you have cancer, because you don't know. Are you going to be alive 6 months or 6 years or 60 years?
Most important thing for women, and I know that insurances fight this on us, something horrible. But I believe that 30 years old is not too young to have a mammogram. No way.
Preventing this, if you have a strong family history, please, please get your exams. I mean, you know, at 35, it's like, wow, you know, stage 3, I didn't start out stage 1, I just, wham, I went for the home run, and you had stage 3, you know, it could have been worse. But if you have a history, just go in and do your checkups, everything that you can to prevent it.
You know, the first time I was not as devastated about cancer. I have a family history of cancer. My mother, my grandmother, my great-grandmother, my 3 sisters and I are all diagnosed. So I saw them deal with the disease, so I was not devastated. When I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer and had a recurrence of that, that was really one that kind of shook me a little bit. However, I began to do all the research that I could to find out what was going to be the optimal treatment for it, and I think I've gotten some good help.
I am such an advocate of annual mammograms for women that are age 40 and over. And I want to stress annual, not every other year, but each year. It's so important for a woman to get their annual mammogram. In my situation, because my paternal grandmother had breast cancer, I'd had my baseline at 35, and then starting at 40, I started going every year. And thank goodness I did, because my prognosis would have been not so good if a cancer spot had not been detected last July.
November of last year, we put in a contract for a house and bought the house in January, knowing that we were going to have to redo it. And when we closed, the day we closed, we walked into the house and there was 4 inches of water and the ceiling had fallen in. And you just think, okay, what do you do? So you just say, okay, we work with insurance and we'll just redo the whole house. So while we're redoing the whole house is when I found out I had cancer. And at that point I thought, you know, material stuff really isn't number one right now. It's family, it's friends, and it's my relationship with God, obviously.
And for those who are going through it, understand that life is a journey, and just take the long and slow road.
It's going to be all right. You're going to get through it. Be strong. Take care of yourself, and just hang in there Make sure that you have a team of doctors that you feel good about.
Sunsets, nature, but the people in your life that you might have, you love, but you realize how much they care about you and your family and how much support they give you. It's those people that have really, really made a difference. And I've been able to get through, well, first of all, my family, my husband and son and daughter-in-law and daughter and my granddaughter and of course family. But other people that are just, your friends, it's been incredible.
And if you are diagnosed, get on with your life. Get your treatments, get on with life, have fun. Life's too short. I'm 63 and I plan on living 20 more years. I'm going to have fun with my husband in the next few years. But preventative is mammograms, that's it. And if you're lucky enough not to have it, just keep those mammograms anyway. Even if it comes back that you don't have it, you go every year. Please go, please.
I live a very, very hearty life. I've been to chemotherapy every day this week. I had chemotherapy this morning. I leave there, I go to work. I go home, I do whatever I need to do for myself and cook, clean, those kinds of things. I have the energy to do it. That's the difference between then and now, is that we have all of these things that we can do to prevent the nausea, to prevent the just all of the adverse side effects. The only side effect I have with this drug is that I lost my hair and I've increased my appetite. So the money I don't use on a beautician, I buy better food with.